Okay. Good evening, guys. So I hope you are not too tired from so many presentations. So it will be the last one for today. My name is Kerstin Eichmann. I'm responsible for the machine economy team at the innovation hub of innogy. And so I'm mainly responsible for all of our VC activities that we are doing in the hub. Primary to the innogy innovation hub, I was working as the technical evangelism lead for Microsoft. And prior to that, I was responsible as product lead for FidoBank, where I was mainly responsible for the implementation of the Ripple, Kraken and Bitcoin DE API, the integration into their existing wallet. So this was also the time back then in 2011 when I got excited about Bitcoin, as it really was, to my eyes, the counter answer to the financial crisis. So today I will talk a little bit about innogy and why we are looking in the blockchain space, because I could assume that for you guys it might be a little bit weird why a utility company is looking into decentralized ledger technologies. Whoops. But before I want to go in detail, I just would like to give you a better picture of who we are and what we are doing. Whoops. Check, yeah. So as you may know, RWE is one of the biggest European utility companies. So, but they are mainly responsible for nuclear power plants and all that bad stuff, I would say. So in 2016, they decided to have their own startup called innogy. It was their first spin out. And here we have been responsible for all the renewable assets. And also we have been operating 57 kilometers of the grid. And in 2014, we have launched the Innovation Hub in Berlin and Essen, where mainly our idea was to disrupt the core business. And of course, 2 weeks ago, we also heard about the announcement that E.ON was on a shopping trip and they decided to buy innogy. So don't ask me who will be the king of the grid, but we are still in the Innovation Hub, we will continue to do our work. Yeah, we are really, I would say, strongly positioned worldwide with our Innovation Hub approach. So our headquarters is based in Berlin, where we focus on the machine economy part. We have also an outpost in Tel Aviv, where everything is interesting for us with regards to security. Then we have also a department in UK in London. It's a smart and connected team. And yeah, what else? I think that's mainly our diversified portfolio approach, where we try to find the most interesting startups worldwide. And for the Ethereum camp, the focus is basically on the smart and connected team. Their vision is to turn every building into a smart organism. And the purpose of the machine economy team is very similar. We want to turn machines into the stakeholders of the future using distributed ledger technology, AI and IoT. And the digital disruptive, I know so many strange terms, the digital disruptive lighthouse or team, they are focusing on the energy space and they want to identify new business models, really to disrupt our core business. And cyber venture, as you can already imagine, everything is related to security solutions. So as of now, we have invested into around 50 startups so far. And so it's a diversified portfolio of every team. I'm responsible as the VC for everything around machine-centered topics. And the overall goal is that we want to achieve an accumulated goal of 500 million by the end of 2020. So again, the most interesting part, I think you would like to know more about our blockchain activities. I think it was back then in 2015 when people realized that there's a very interesting correlation between Bitcoin and energy, because you have to burn a lot of energy to build the hashes. And so people understood that this is a moment in time that we at innogy, we also have to care about that new technology. Besides of that, we also understood that the grid is our most crucial infrastructure. So let's assume an attacker would hack our grid infrastructure. It could bring down an entire country like Germany. So it was very clear to us that we have to find a best-in-class cryptography and also maybe decentralized blockchain solutions. But we our thinking didn't terminate here. Then we started to think about business model innovation, but not only in the field of energy, but also with regards to mobility and supply chain, as the energy market is one of the highest regulated markets worldwide. So I will also talk a little bit about the 2 use cases we have identified so far. However, in 2017, at the Innovation Hub, we realized that with use case, blockchain-based applications, it's very, very difficult to make money. As mostly the market is not there yet, the industry ecosystem is not there yet. Also, we have to face some technical issues. That's why we changed our strategy a little bit now in 2018, where we will only focus on the tech stack, the new tech stack that you need to build a new Internet of Agreements. And we have stopped to do any company building activities, but this is more a technical thing. Back then, when the sun was already shining and everything was perfect and innogy, and so we had our first idea to build a peer-to-peer MVP, because peer-to-peer and energy trading, I think, is the ultimate idea of what you can achieve with blockchain and energy. You have to understand that if you are a prosumer, meaning you produce your own energy and you want to sell your own energy, there is no exchange in place. We have the European Energy Exchange, but this marketplace is only usable for big utility companies and for big industry partners who want to trade a volume up to 1 megawatt. And if you are a normal private person, so the back office costs would be too high in comparison to the small microtransaction itself. So this exchange really is not usable for normal people like us. So we thought about, okay, what if we use blockchain, smart contracts combined with smart meter technology? We could simply create a peer-to-peer marketplace where we drive first all the data, we create a virtual pooling, we collect the data, and then we want to mimic a peer-to-peer trading marketplace for small scale generators up to 100 kilowatt per hour. This idea we realized back then also together a little bit with the Consensus team 2 years ago, and it was basically our first spin out in 2017 together with TAPCO. The second use case, I think some of you might be already familiar with Motionnode or share and charge. Here the idea is also very simple. It's the idea of electric vehicle charging and blockchain. You have to think of the very easy case. You just have to deploy a light node or full node into the charging pole and also into the car. So at this moment in time, both assets have a unique identifier, a private key, a public key, and a wallet. And so at this moment in time, both assets can do counter transactions with each other without any roaming partner involved, without any bank involved. So this was also a very nice, interesting use case, which we created using the public Ethereum chain to see how that works. And now the vision is also really, really great. So we want to build a European decentralized charging network where we can really integrate every charging pole into that kind of network idea. So this was our second startup called Motionnode, and I would say those have been the blockchain activities so far in the hub. Besides of that, at the moment we also look into offshore wind parks. Because, so I don't know if you are familiar with the energy market. If you have a big wind park and if the wind park produces too much energy, we have to throttle the entire wind park, so we simply lose the energy. So what we could use, what we could make instead, we could go to the Netzeinspeisepunkt, I don't know the word in English, but before that we put the energy into the grid, we could also use the excess energy for that we have to mine cryptocurrencies or to have a data center or something like that. This is just a little bit some playground, some thinking we are doing right now. Anyway, I already told you, so we stopped doing company building, but what we also understood in the Innovation Hub that it's not everything related to blockchain. Blockchain is only a buzzword. We think that there are 4 really interesting major shifts in our economy that will really change the future of our planet. The first is the energy transition. So we will have instead of having only 2 or 3 big power plants, we will have a huge mass of decentralized assets. So here it's also about distribution, decentralization of assets, solar plants, wind parks and stuff like that. And those assets have to be managed by a new operating system and not the old mainframes from the past. Yeah, it simply doesn't work. And there it also comes e-mobility. This also will change how our energy business will look like in the future. And then of course we have the big IoT transition that we will have 50 billion connected devices in 2020, meaning we will consume much more energy, there will be many more transactions. We have to deal with electric vehicles, also digital twins. So here again the question is how can we manage all those devices and transactions? The second transition, we are already familiar with that, is the trust and control transition. So using blockchain technologies, self-sovereign identity solutions, GDPR. Here we can also sense that something is changing in our economy, that people will have back the control over their data, over their assets. Also, I would say maybe in the future it will be also possible to make money out of API calls, gateway calls. So there may be new economical revenue streams will occur for people like us. Then the last transition that we see is the entire financial transition. We see that the old fiat system is going to be changed, that we will have cryptocurrencies, the entire token utility economy, ICOs. We really need programmable money for that new IoT world. We can't use cash for an IoT device. We need programmable money here, so that's why we also think that it's crucial to the future development. Here, just some numbers in place. I already mentioned that we will be surrounded by a lot of autonomous cars. Also 10% of GDP will be based on the token economy and blockchain in the near future. So yeah, so a lot of stuff is happening around us, and it's faster than we have all expected. And here, coming back to the Innovation Hub of Energy, and I already mentioned that we have 4 different focus teams at the Innovation Hub. And we believe that only if the 4 teams, if they work together, and then the convergence of our disruptive technologies or strategies or the different kind of thinking, that we can really shape the look and feel of the old utility companies, but we cannot focus on only one topic. It's more the mixture of everything, where we think that could be an asset for our Innovation Hub, because we really are looking into Horizon 3. We are not so much looking into normal innovation or incremental innovation, but more or less how the future could look like if those puzzles, if those building blocks are connected. Yeah, again, the machine economy DNA, I really love that quote, because it describes so in such an elegant way what the IoT, the Internet of Things world is. Internet of Things is when your toaster mines Bitcoin to pay off its gambling debts to the fridge. Here we can already see how everything will be autonomous, smart and connected, maybe also economically independent, that the fridge will have its own wallet, that the toaster is able to earn money and sell money, that the car will be able to have its own P&L, its own profit and loss balance, basically. That's the world we really think of every day here in the Berlin headquarters. And again, the smart and connected team, they are very similar in their thinking because they want to build that the building becomes an own smart organism or a decentralized autonomous building. So that's why I'm also here maybe to inspire some of the hacker groups. That's really what we would like to see at the end of the week. Some really futuristic ideas. And yeah, if you extrapolate this thinking at a certain moment in time, you also come up with the idea that bots, machines, I don't know, smart buildings, that they will become the stakeholders or customers of the future. As we think that there simply will be a change from user-centric design to more a machine-centric design. So if you take for example, APIs. I think that APIs in the future, they will be the new communication channel, the marketing gateway between assets and commodities. If you think about AIs, AI will be responsible for the rating KPIs of an entire supply chain. And then you can also think about blockchain, and it will simply reduce the latency between an order, as a transaction itself, the settlement and the clearing, and so things become more cheap, and it's less time consuming and also less expensive. So guys, don't worry, that's my last slide, so you have really, nearly get it. So this is again our thinking. We apply Maslow to machines in order for our portfolio approach to invest in every layer of that new world. So we looked at what comes first, what is the basic need for a machine. It's energy, utility companies, and it's bandwidth connectivity. The second layer, of course, everything is related to security, trusted execution environments, that the machine is able to do transactions with another device using a reliable infrastructure, I don't know, like Weave, and a secure communication protocol. The second layer, sorry. So now it's getting a little bit, getting a little bit more clearer. The third layer, social belonging. Here we assume that everything should be related to an identity. Once that we can assign a unique identity to a device, the device can make its presence known to another device, and then it can interact and communicate with that device. The fourth layer, here it's about esteem, so this is already in place. If you think about machine learning, optimization, and stuff like that, then of course you can think of micropayments between IoT devices. You can think of know your machine instead of know your customer, that really we can see that there's some entrepreneurial spirit in that machine economy, that a machine is able to make the best decisions. And finally, that's why I integrated the smart and connected strategy into that pyramid. It could be, the ultimate goal of that pyramid could be to build a self-sustainable building where all those layers to some degree are already applied or integrated. Again, this was the challenge my colleague yesterday introduced to you guys. Develop new services and business models based on comprehensive digital building data, the digital twin. It's here, and I already understood that the smart and connected team out there, they are building, they call their idea Il Fungo, and they want to put as many sensors into a building that you can track and trace the amount of, what is it called, Schimmel? Mold, thank you. So if you have, depending on the amount of mold that you have in your building, you have to pay more for your insurance company. So if you open your window on a regular basis, you have to pay less, for example, for your insurance. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, back again to that picture. So as I am more or less acting like a venture capitalist, my team and we are looking on the infrastructure layer. So we invest in startups that are dealing with infrastructure and middleware solutions. We don't look so much at the application layer. So we want to focus on the building blocks of the new internet first. We want to enable enterprises as well by finding the right tools. And the smart and connected team, as they focus on PropTech, so it's a use case, they focus more on the application side here. Yeah. If you come to us or to E.ON, I don't know, maybe it will be innogy E.ON, so don't know. What we provide is pre-seed money, seed money, and also we participate in token investments. So if you feel that you should talk to me, you can find me here on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Happy to support you to build the future of our world. Thank you.